Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and after so long we're doing another anti-haul. It's been a very long time since I did one of these, and there are so many things that I don't want from this holiday season, and I thought I would, help you guys along with your thinking if you need to, and then I'll need some help from you to get one thing off of my head. It's been stuck in my cart for a while and I need help to not buy it. So let's start by saying this is going to be a holiday palette edition of anti-hauls, because there's a bunch of palettes that have come out or are coming out for the holiday season, or at least, yeah, that's what they're calling it. And there's, a lot of them that I do not want for different reasons. So let's start with the new Vizart Grand Pro Palette 2. They were sneak peeking black and whites of this, and I was actually really excited. And the reason for that was the Grand Pro 1 was an all matte eyeshadow palette with way too many light shades, in my opinion. Nobody needs that many undertones of extremely light white, cream, very light shades. I thought that was too much, and that was why I didn't pick it up. So my twisted brain thought this would be the colorful, saturated version of that palette. So I was like, oh my god, I'm ready for it. I'm gonna spend the money, I'm gonna buy it, because if it's a full huge matte eyeshadow palette with all saturated and beautiful colorful shades, and it's one of the best formulas in the industry, I'm gonna buy it. And then they came out and it's a fully shimmery shadow palette. Everything dropped. I was like, okay, my money's safe, not happening. Why do you need so many shimmer shadows? I believe every column has a different finish, so more metallic, more duochrome, some crystal I think is another of the finishes. And I mean, I've seen the applications on their Instagram lives and videos about it, and yes, they're pretty when applied with a mixing medium, which then brings me to the point of, if I need to apply a mixing medium, any shadow will look that good. I don't know. Not worth the price for me. Not worth spending $100+ on a full shimmer eyeshadow palette. No. Especially something that has to be used with a mixing medium. While we are on the super high-end part of the spectrum, let's talk about the Natasha Denona Safari palette. Again, super excited. All the sneak peeks were full matte, gorgeous pigment, extremely intense, and then no. Again, we're missing something that calls to me, and on top of that, what you get is bad reviews. Oh my god, I was watching Mel Thompson's videos, Puffin's wife, and she is good at makeup, and I trust her reviews. She's always honest, and I swear that was just a big no-no. She couldn't make it work. It was not blending properly, and for that price, another $100 and something palette, there is no way. Also, the color story was not complete for me. It's not something that you'd say that is a palette, one and done, you don't ever need any other matte eyeshadows ever. And I don't know if such a palette exists. It might be a nice challenge for me to create it with my singles. Actually, let me know if that would be fun. It's very personal, of course, but yeah, I know I have some shades that I want in all of my palettes, and they were just not in the Natasha Denona one. Don't need it, not gonna buy it. Then another lackluster palette and a bit of a disappointment is the Becca Volcano Goddess palette. Volcano Goddess, I was expecting fire and gorgeousness, and again saturation, and then the swatches come out and it's this very wearable desaturated brown with some pop of color. I think there's one blue maybe. It's just really not there. Again, I understand Becca's business model, or in general their target audience, is probably not me. I love color, even though I'm like the most basic monochromatic person today, but I love color and I love wearing colorful eyeshadows, and no, that palette definitely did not appeal to me at all. And again, not enough mattes in there. I'm looking at the swatches right now. Just no. There's a yellow, an orange, and a blue. Interesting. That's it. Moving on to another palette that is blows my mind and how weird it is the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette. Now last year for holidays, they came out with Prism. Weird color combo, but very unique, very impactful, very holiday. This time we're getting another beige palette with a few grays and cool tones in there and a bright neon coral. And I was like, what? Take out that coral. Boring, boring, boring. So that I'm also gonna skip on. I'm actually happy. My heart skipped a beat when I saw that so soon after the Norvina palette launched, they were gonna push out a new palette. And I should have expected it because it was holiday palette needed to come out, but I'm happy. I don't like it. I don't think I'm ready to buy another one after, I think, skipping Norvina, which was a good thing. Last palette I bought from them, I think, was Soft Glam, yeah, for sure. And that was in February, so we're good. Thankfully, we're good for now. I think the color scheme is interesting. If you don't have any cool tones or you want to work with cool tones, the grays look nice. But that coral, that just makes my brain hurt. I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. Put a green. Put a, I don't know, just not a bright coral matte eyeshadow. I don't understand. So that's off my list as well. We can jump quickly in this cherry situation. We have Urban Decay Naked Cherry. That has been sneak peeked for a long time. We saw the presentation by the brand on their YouTube channel and swatches all over the place. And I know it's been on pre-sale on Sephora, in Italy at least, for a few days, and then it's gonna be out in October sometime. But it's a full palette of pinks and berries, kind of. And didn't they do Naked 3? And that was a bit more rose gold, but I see a lot of overlap and not enough interesting reds and greens. I still think, let me actually grab it. I still think that a proper cherry palette would have a color scheme kind of similar to this, or at least pulling on this Zoeva Cafe palette here. I reviewed this recently on my blog, but you would have the cherry reds, maybe pulling indeed a little bit into the berry tones, but then put the greens, the shimmer, deep shimmer green one, the deep matte green shade. I think you can do so much stuff with the cherry inspiration that is more than just pink. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Then we go into KKW. Not that I was ever tempted to buy a Kardashian makeup piece, to be honest. There's so many better business owners and people who have invested in their line, and I just don't do Kardashians. My battery died off while I was raging against the Kardashians, so we'll just leave it at that. But I'm looking at the palette, and it's another 50 shades of brown with a cranberry shade in there. It's not that interesting. It's again very neutral. It's very on brand for her, I guess, but all of her palettes look kind of the same. How many do you need to just be done? Because your looks will never look that different between each other. So no, I am definitely voting no on the Cherry Blossom palette and collection by Kim Kardashian West Beauty. I don't know even what the name of the brand is. Moving on to another business owner I do not support anymore, and that is Kat Von D. Her holiday collection is the Fetish collection. This is not out yet, but I know a few people have had the chance to get their hands on it early. One of them is my friend Yori from my personal beauty lab. I would definitely recommend you go see her swatch video on the palette. She managed to grab it early. And I would say that, first of all, the shade placement again, makes my brain hurt, just like Saint and Sinner. Just this whole staggered thing, why? And this huge packaging that could have been much smaller, more compact, and I don't know, it's just no. Some of the shade names are also no for me. I'm just not interested in her, but also this palette could have been something completely different. I can imagine a black and a bright red, like was the one she did with Too Faced, the collaboration with Too Faced, and exploring that direction instead of again placing a bunch of shades that are absolutely unrelated to each other, like Saint and Sinner. I don't understand. I went in store and I was with my husband and he was in there when we went to see Saint and Sinner still last year, and he was like, what's wrong with these people? How are you supposed to use this? And I'm like, I know. It's like there's no rhyme or reason for it. Anyways, that is also a no from me. I was actually excited about the face palette. Then I saw the inside. Absolutely not. It's boring. It's pink. Just no. Just no. Now let's get into palettes that are actually more tempting and have to be more reasoned upon not to get them. The easiest to say no to among the tempting ones is the Urban Decay Elements palette, and this is this big disc with a iridescent shade in the middle, transformer shade in the middle, and then this whole color story around it, divided in different color families, and it looks really beautiful. There's mattes and shimmers, and it looks like there's a bunch of shades that you could do a lot with. It's one of those palettes that you can really work your purples, pinks, greens, yellows, oranges, everything in there. It's really pretty. However, again, after my last Urban Decay experience, I am not really into having to return this or sell this, actually, because in Europe you can't return open makeup. So I'm not willing to take the risk on such a big palette with so many difficult colors. I was so disappointed by the Born to Run palette. You can see my review, I'll link it in the cards. It was a bit sad, and I'm not ready to take the risk again without swatching this palette. And I'm pretty sure that by the time I get to a Sephora or this palette gets to Ici Paris, I think, has Urban Decay here in the Netherlands, it's gonna be sold out, so it will never make it here. I'm actually pretty sure that it won't make it here. I'm gonna have to check, because if I get to touch it in person, and maybe I can even ask a makeup artist to either let me use it in store or for her to use it on me. I don't think I am ready to take another risk on an Urban Decay palette, independently of how many good reviews this gets. Then moving on to the Huda Beauty Precious Stone collection. These are these little 9-pan palettes, monochromatic and thematic to 5 precious stones. You might have seen my Emerald Obsessions dupe palette. That is in a video that is up already on my channel. I'll link it again in the cards and down below if you want to take a look. But I was saying how I was really tempted by the green one. As I was saying, there were 5 different palettes, and I'm again looking at them on my phone. A purple one, an orange, a red, a blue, and a green. So the orange, I would say nobody needs, because we all have by now a bunch of very warm tones and oranges and browns, because that's what the theme of the palette is. So I think we're all kind of safe there, and you really don't need that. It's like, moving on. The red palette there is actually a little bit more interesting, because red shades are hard and they either pull very pink or they're not red at all. So I'm actually interested to see how these reds perform and look on the eyes, because it looks like there's a matte warm toned red and a matte cool toned red. There's a few transition shades who are more on the pink side, which that already I don't like that much, and then you have more browns, and that is unfortunate because you can do so much more than just browns. I'm going off of the marketing material here. I hope that's okay. Then the 3 colorful ones, more colorful ones, are the purple, the blue, and the green. The purple, limited in the number of mattes and shades of matte that there are in there, and me having the Bling Boss palette by Jaclyn Hill and Morphe, I am not really into actually wanting to get that palette. I can understand the interest because it's actually very hard to find good and accessible purples. There are not that many palettes that have good purples in them. But yeah, I also don't wear purple. Have you seen me in purple? I think only the time I was trying to dupe Norvina palette. But that was all the purple I ever wore this year, I'm pretty sure. Then the two more difficult ones, as I said, were the Emerald palette. But I think I managed to get all dupes in there. And again, if you like one or two of these shades, just check that video out. They're mostly Makeup Geek eyeshadows. And yeah, I think you can get single shadows without having to go for a full 9 shades of green and olive and teal, actually, mainly. And then for the blue one, instead, I love the color scheme. I love the pop of yellow. The looks that I've seen online are very beautiful. But then again, blue eyeshadow is not for everybody. And you might be better off with 1 or 2 very aimed single eyeshadows or blues in a palette of different shades rather than a full monochromatic palette. If this reasoning doesn't work for you, I am sorry, I tried. I think these are actually a very, very smart concept and I love it, but just not for everybody. And if there's 1 or 2 colors that you really, really like, pick them up. I think for the money they're worth it, but I think they're easily skippable as well. Okay, and now we get to the more difficult ones. Last year, Too Faced came out with Gingerbread Man liquid lipstick. It's my favorite liquid lipstick, I think, ever. I have it here. It sits in a special spot in my vanity. It's not among my rest of my liquid lipsticks because I need to know where it is at all times. I need to be able to grab it at all times. Jokes aside, I love the formula of this, and the color is this perfect fall, but also in summer it looks gorgeous. This is beautiful, bright, burnt orange, orangey brown type of shade. I love it. It's really, really good. Now they're coming out with a whole collection based on this shade. They are coming out with an eyeshadow palette. That's a Gingerbread Spice eyeshadow palette. Now, just from the outside packaging, I was like, I'm buying it. I'm buying it. But then I looked inside and it was like, yes, I'm still buying it, even though there's a bright fuchsia in there. When will I ever wear that, for example? But I was still very, very interested. It's not a Too Faced palette if you don't have pink in there, so yeah, whatever. I also never tried Too Faced eyeshadows, so I would also be open to trying that one out. Then I saw on Instagram a post recently by Beauty Addiction in one word. I'll link her Instagram account down below. She does amazing comparisons. I really, really love it. And she compared the Gingerbread Spice palette with a few different others, among which the new ColourPop fall eyeshadow, which I have here. And it looks like this. It's amazing. You might have seen it in my fall must-have video that I just posted. And there's a lot of overlap. And actually this ColourPop palette has way more darker and richer tones than the Gingerbread Spice one does. And I see the Gingerbread Spice be a little bit underwhelming for me if I look at it. I am still really on the fence with it because the tin is gorgeous and I love the lipstick so much. And it could be that if it releases in Italy, in Sephora, in the weekend I am in Milan in October, which kind of has a high chance of it because it's the same weekend it will be released in Douglas in Germany. So it could be that it comes to Europe then. I want to touch it. If I love it, I'm buying it. But for now, I wouldn't buy it online. Let's put it that way. If it's on a website that I can access, I'm not gonna go and buy it right off the bat. I think there are some really nice shades in there. I think there are shades that you don't need, like that bright fuchsia. Nobody needs that, come on. And then there's a dud or two, as I've seen in a few of the reviews. Not stellar reviews there as well, so do your research first. But for me, that comparison already made me like, oh, I think I can do with this $16 palette here rather than the $51. Then last but not least, the hardest thing ever not to buy is the Desi X Katie Dose of Colors second collaboration. That was not a sentence, but you understand what I mean. They just came out, released today actually, when I'm filming it, but you're gonna see this video a little bit later. And I hope it's still available then. They just put out a collection with a full beautiful eyeshadow palette called Friendcation. It's an eyeshadow palette with all of your basic neutrals that you need. There's even a shade called Necessary. I mean, yes, it's necessary. There's your transition shade, your crease shades, your pop of color crease that is more of a reddy one, a very dark one. I think they cover the bases very well, and then 5 of those, and then 5 bright, foiled, shimmery, glittery shades. And that is exactly what is tempting me. The mattes, I have them. It's really not difficult to dupe those mattes. They're very classic, browns, a bit of red here and there. There's nothing special about the mattes, if not that they're in that palette. But those shimmery shades, oh my god, there is this classic topper beigey champagne shade, and that's fine. But the blue, I think it's called Dirty Money, then is the green gold, and that black, oh, they look amazing. Then there is also a cranberry reddish rusty shimmer. I have those. They don't look the best on my eye color, so on my eye color, on my just my coloring in general, so that will be easy to let go. But oh, that blue and the green and the black, they look so gorgeous. I'm having such a hard time not to pick it up. That one with one of the lipsticks, Aftermath I think it's called. I have them on in my cart at Beauty Bay, and I'm trying not to buy them. I need your help. I know you can't do it directly. Maybe I'll ask Instagram, but I need your help. Let me know in the comments down below if you are tempted by any of these palettes and if I helped at all, or if you want to change my mind and I should buy any of these palettes that I mentioned, because yeah, if there's one thing that I collect is eyeshadow, so I'm always open for that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and give it a thumbs up if you did. Of course, this is all for giggles and laughing and just joking about product. It is everybody else's money and everybody can spend it like they want. I'm just trying to convince you and myself not to buy palettes that we don't need. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!